And welcome to yet another glorious episode of Velvet Owl Watches Movies So You Don't Have to. This week we've got another viewer request, or really listener request, because you can't view this podcast. And I don't know why I keep wanting to say viewers. And maybe I would get more viewers and listeners and subscribers if you could actually see this podcast and it wasn't just like audio only. And if I just did this naked, then people will be like, yeah, sign me up and let me look at that fat tub of lard, talk about movies. But that ain't gonna happen. Because, the internet has put the kibosh on me being naked. I don't know why. So anyhow, this comes from my friend Vanessa, formerly known as Ski Mask. If you know them, you know them. They're awesome people, an awesome person. I don't mean, I say they're awesome people and it kind of sounds like I'm trying to make fun of like gender pronouns, but I'm not. That's the saying, like, so-and-so is good people. It's just, why am I explaining to, why am I justifying myself to you when you know me and you know I've got nothing but love in my heart? So this week's film is My Tail is Hot, which seems to be some sort of like exploitation film. I amazingly found it because it's kind of like an obscure movie, I think, but it's apparently public domain. So I did find it on the Internet Archive page, which has all sorts of like public domain features, I think. I've never actually spent time on it, but the description from 1964, My Tail is Hot, aka Always on Monday, a comic fantasy in which a man encounters the devil and a lot of naked women. The comedy features lots of corny jokes. The sets are so phony that they give the film a surreal look. Candy Bar, the famous stripper, appears in a scene. This may be a footage from another movie. So, it kind of has me sold. But no, what really has me sold is the poster for it, which is what Vanessa sent to me. And that is just fucking, Google image My Tail is Hot movie, and I hope this comes up, but I'm going to try to describe it best I can. It's old school, just crazy, tons of shit thrown at you type of flyer. And in the middle, you've got the guy wearing a devil mask, but it's the old school. It's not like an actual mask. It's a hoodie. It's like the hood with the fake horns on, the red hood with fake horns, and he's got a goatee. It's like that old school devil look. That's freaking awesome. And then we've got a lot of naked women with fake flames conveniently covering the naughty bits of their boobs. So I'm excited because there's going to be a lot of boobs in this film, isn't there? That is fantastic. And it says, tantalizing temptations by the ton. Never have so many shown so much. And then on top of that, it's like I'm saying, there's a lot going on in this poster. It's, I imagine, Candy Bar, because it says, inimitable, inscrutable Candy Bar. What a great name for a stripper. And above her body, it says, it's a regular panties inferno. 27 chicks from across the sticks. How is that not just selling this thing? You're already buying a ticket for this, aren't you? This might be one of those movies that I watch so you don't have to, but I'm going to recommend that you watch it as well. Because it's a regular panties inferno. That fucking sells me on this shit so much. And then it's filmed in living Skinoscope. I don't know what the fuck Skinoscope is, but again, I am excited. I am glad to find out Skinoscope. I guess it's like CinemaScope, but with more skin. And then my favorite part of this poster, it says, made by a major motion picture producer. What the fuck is that? Yeah, it's made by someone famous, sort of. We can't tell you their name. So it's fantastic. So I've rambled enough. I am pressing play on this shit. And we begin with some fun, sexy, fun times. A bunch of girls are dancing topless. Unfortunately, so far we can only see them from the back. But, they got to tantalize us, right? They got to tease us so we get all excited. But great cast. In addition to Candy Barr as herself, we've got Little Jack Little as Ben-Hur Ova. My God, that is a fantastic name. This is what, like, was this written by the people who write, like, Screw Magazine? Yeah, this is, like, just fantastic. Then we've got Manny Goodtimes as Lucifer the Devil. So, great stage name. I guess you can't do much with, like, his character name because he's playing Lucifer the Devil. And then we've got I'm a Ghoul as Saturna. Be Ready as Miesis Ova. Miesis Ova? Ova? I'll have to wait and see how that's pronounced. Lotta Parts as the mannequin, the cashier, the candy girl, the barmaid, and Fair Ova. So that lives up to her name. She does play a lot of parts. At first I thought a lot of parts was going to mean like her lady parts or something, but no, she is playing a lot of parts. Carry Me Off as the ticket girl. Evan Lessie as the TV announcer. Evan Lessie? That's not a funny name. Come on, Evan. Step up your game. And the Cutie Beauties of Hell in the Harem. I don't know if I should know who they are. Maybe people back in the day knew who they were, but I'm going to assume everyone's using their real name, right? It's just like coincidental that they're all funny names. They were cast because they had funny names. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now we're over at Lucifer's home cave, and he's feeling down. Because his wife is making soup again. She doesn't make anything good and yummy or tasty. No like pickled hearts or bat brains or whatever it was he said. Nope, soup again. Mr. Devil, Lucifer, sir, maybe she's just trying to, like, look out for your health. Maybe it's healthy soup, and she just wants you to be in good shape. You're getting old, and your metabolism isn't what it used to be, so you just need some help. And that's okay. She's a loving wife. Even though she's Satana. Woo! It's a great name. And then the other reason he's upset is because he doesn't get good souls anymore, The good men have been staying good men. And he's reading an article about Ben-Hur Ova and how he's the world's most faithful husband and cannot be tempted away from his wife whatsoever. And he thinks, or Lucifer, I want to say Satan, but no, he's Lucifer the devil. So he's not like Satan the devil, he's Lucifer the devil. And, that's like a whole big thing that I'm not going to get into theology about the different devils. So I keep wanting to say Satan because that's like the most famous devil. But he's Lucifer. So I'm just going to probably just screw up the names all throughout this film. But, he thinks, you know what? I'm going to fucking pervert this soul and corrupt him and lead him astray. And his wife is like, I don't think you can. And he's like, watch me. And he grabs his little plastic pitchfork. Oh, actually, it's a big plastic pitchfork. And he's off. And how did we get to that whole, like, the devil has a pitchfork thing, anyhow? Is it there in the Bible, like, that he tortures people with a pitchfork? Or was he a farmer that was, like, pitching bales of hay and then became the devil? And he was like, well, I've already got this weapon. I may as well continue using it. So now we go to Ben Ova in his garden, although his wife is the one who's bent over. Hollywood, if you ever decide to remake this film, hire me. I can make these horrible jokes as well. And so, By the way, his wife is smoking hot. Did you expect any less, really? But Benova is like 5 feet tall, has really greasy hair, and a pencil thin mustache. So I'm thinking part of the reason he's the most faithful husband is that he doesn't really have a lot of options. Like, he knows that he scored way out of his fucking league. Like, part of the reason Gomez Adams is fucking faithful to Morticia, aside from like true deep love, is Gomez does not have a lot of options. And actually, maybe he probably does, because he is very kind-hearted and a very romantic soul. But I think he realizes he got Morticia Adams, and she is like way fucking out of his league, so he's not gonna fuck that up. And I think that's what's going on with Benova here. He knows that he is out of his league, and he's like, I got this smoking girl. I am not gonna fuck this up. I will remain faithful to her. Good for you, Ben. And Ben decides he's gonna go inside because he's got to watch TV, while his wife continues to do gardening. But she starts feeling really hot, so she decides that she's gonna take off all her clothes. Well, not completely all. She leaves her panties on. But, so she's like 3/4 naked. Just fine for me. Boobs within the first 15 minutes. So this film passes the Velvet Owl test. Whee! I should get like a buzzer sound or something to play anytime a film passes the Velvet Owl test. This is your first time listening. Velvet Owl test is if a film shows boobs within the first 15 minutes, that is great, because then if the movie is horrible and you turn it off after 15 minutes, you've at least seen boobs. So this film passes the Velvet Owl test. And so she's gardening in just her panties when up through the ground pops up Lucifer. And he's like, whoa, hubba hubba. And she gets scared, like, who are you? And he's like, oh, don't be scared. I'm a gardener. I deal with bad seeds. Wah, wah. And I don't know if it's just being a creepy man that suddenly appeared in her garden or these horrible jokes, but she runs off to go find Ben. Mrs. Ova comes running in and like, Ben, the devil's in the yard. Like, no, don't go out there. He could kill you. But Ben, he's got to protect his woman. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give the devil a piece of my mind. Because he doesn't think it's really the devil. He thinks it's just some crazy guy in long underwear. Which, I mean, it kind of really is just a crazy guy in long red underwear. But Lucifer gives him his business card. And he is the devil. And also a magician. Which doesn't surprise me. People are always talking about the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Seriously, Hollywood. I am capable of these horrible puns. So, if you ever want to remake this film, or a film like this, hire me. I will be pun aplenty. And so Lucifer's telling Ben that, he shouldn't be like just staying to being the most faithful husband. He should share the wealth of his amazingment. Is that even a word, amazingment? It is now. That he should share his special gifts with all women. And the devil knows that he can just give Ben anything he wants. For example, he's going to give Ben a swimming pool. And it is a super fucking shallow swimming pool, like half a foot of water, maybe. It's basically a bathtub, really, more than it's a large bathtub. But while this pool may be lacking in size, what it makes up for is a naked woman. Oh, yeah. Naked woman just kind of bathing herself in this swimming pool that's really just a glorified bathtub. But, you know what? I'm sold. If you're going to sell me a swimming pool that comes with a naked woman just going to sit there and bathe herself in the water, I don't care about the semantics of is this really even a swimming pool or not, because you can't really swim in it, but I don't care. I'm buying it for the model. But however tempting the offer is, Ben says no. Because, he's a one-woman man. All of his love is for Miss Ova. And this pool just isn't going to cut it. So the devil's like, well, that's not all I offer. I offer this other glorified bathtub swimming pool. But this one comes with 2 naked women. And you're killing me, Smalls. I mean, the one naked woman pool option was, I thought, awesome. But there's a 2 naked woman option? And they're playing with balls? Because what's better than a naked woman playing with balls? Nothing, I tell you. Nothing. 2 words. Nothing. Yeah, we'll go with it. Just sign me up, Lucifer. Give me a pool with 2 naked women. But no, Ben Over, still not taking the bait. He loves his wife. And he wants the devil to go and get these pools and these hussies out of there and bring the garden back. So otherwise his wife will be mad. So the pools aren't enough to tempt Ben. So devil decides to, switch things up. How about television? And now this excites Ben because he's like, oh, television. I missed the Beverly Hillbillies last week. So can we watch that? But no, it's not really television. It's sinner vision. And it allows you to look at any sinner in the world right that moment. And the sample that devil will give him is the maid that Ben just hired and is supposedly cleaning right now. But we peek in. Is she cleaning? No. She's on the bed, topless. And I'm guessing Ben Over didn't hire one of those topless maid services. Which, me personally, I don't get the appeal. I'm hiring a cleaner. I want you getting down and dirty and, fucking cleaning the toilet and all that shit. So I don't want you, and your lady parts just kind of flopping about naked. It doesn't appeal to me. And it doesn't appeal to Ben. But then again, she's not cleaning. She's just fucking, sitting there, apparently writing a letter to her mom about how her boss is all cuddly. And then she takes off her panties because, I don't know, she must know that she's being watched because she looks back at where the camera would be and smiles. And if she didn't know she was being watched, then that's just fucking creepy. Who are you smiling at and doing your little dance for? Now, Ben is so fed up from this that he has to just go for a walk. And he doesn't even realize how far he's walking. And suddenly he's at a girly show. Which I think is the precursor to strip clubs. In between burlesque and strip clubs, it's the girly show. And he's like, whoa, what am I doing here? And there's the devil. He pops up. Oh, you like girly shows? I think I might finally have you. What kind of girls do you like? And Ben describes the girls he likes that are basically tall and big boobed. And so the devil makes one appear. And she starts dancing by just very minimally shaking her hips. It is a horrible dance, let me say. Just no enthusiasm. Okay, it's okay if you don't have full dance skills, but at least just show enthusiasm. Show that you're into it. That is what people really want to see from a girly show. Is just show that you're into it. This girl, no. I'm bored. Even though she then takes her top off. Not enough, lady. You've ruined it for me. And so Ben and the devil go inside the girly show, but they don't have tickets. They need tickets. But the devil, he's gonna give the ticket girl his own ticket. I think something. I am just now confused at what he did. He wrapped his cape around her and smoke blew up and her clothes fell off, and that apparently was enough to get them into the club. I guess. I don't know. I don't even know how to make a joke out of it because I am confused as to what happened. Now, inside the girly show, the show is kind of on intermission. So the devil buys Ben a hot dog, which I think is the true thing to tempt Ben with. Forget the women. I think the hot dog is the key. And so he eats the hot dog with special girly relish, which allows him to see the ticket girl who's just arrived to do her job. And ticket girl, she's taking her clothes off. I'm not sure if she has to get into like the uniform for ticket taking, and she must know she's being watched because otherwise, again, she's smiling like at the camera. So if she doesn't know she's being watched, it's just creepy. What is she smiling at? But she's also taking her clothes off. So it's creepy, but I also have a boner. I don't know how to feel. Unfortunately, the hot dog doesn't settle well into Ben's stomach, and he rushes to the bathroom, where the devil gives him a Sex-Lax pill. It's gonna make him feel good all over. But makes him puke fire. Smooth move. Damn it, I just jumped the gun on this joke. So he pukes fire, which burns a hole in the wall. Smooth move, Sex-Lax. Which I'm sure this movie would have gone with that joke, but it was the 60s, so I don't think they had the catchphrase smooth move X-Lax yet. So, but Hollywood, that one's free on me if you remake this film. But luckily for Ben anyway, the hole in the wall allows him to look into the dressing room, and there's another girl stripping. You know, I keep saying stripping, but it's not like modern day stripping where they're like twerking and dancing around the pole. It's like the old school burlesque stripping where it's kind of just playful and just kind of with giant feathers as well. And I like burlesque. Burlesque is so much more awesome than like regular stripping of these days. Old school burlesque is just fucking awesome. And that's basically what this film has been. It's just like a series of burlesque dances capped off by creepy looking devil and a creepier looking little man. But yeah. Sometimes that's all you need from a film. So let me go back and see if there's more burlesque stripping. I'm sure there still will be some more. Now Ben's throat is burning up, so he runs out and he needs a drink. So the devil takes him to a bar where there's a hot redhead with cleavage for days. Because of course, you know, remember, devil's trying to lure Ben over to the dark side. And what better way than cleavage bartenders? Oh, she's going to get a good tip tonight. Just a tip. Hollywood, I'm free and available. So, Ben orders a glass of milk, while the devil orders a Bloody Mary. And the bartender goes to get the drinks. Oh, by the way, like when he orders milk, as you might have guessed, he's staring straight at her boobs. Because, you know, boobs, milk, ha. And so she goes to get the drinks, and Satan does his thing, and suddenly she's naked. Oh, yeah. And she hands over the drinks. And where I thought it was going to go, because it almost did, so it must have been completely by accident, because they didn't fully go, but her boobs are right there at the tip of the glass, on the rims of the glass, and I thought she was going to put her boobs into the glasses. Which, I will go to that bar. If there's a bar, it's highly unsanitary and probably cannot pass like health guidelines. But if there's a bar where the bartender puts her boobs in your drink before giving you the drink. It's like Boob Scotch by the great Bob Locke III. Yeah, check him out. He's fantastic, and he's got songs about boobs. One of them is Boob Scotch, about putting your boobs into a glass of scotch and using it to stir the scotch. It is fantastic. Why have I never covered that song? Maybe if I did more songs about boobs, people would have showed me their boobs. No, I don't think it would have worked that way because I had plenty of songs about boobs when I performed. Yeah, I'm rambling. I'm on a complete aside. Just complete tangent. Just put boobs in your drinks. And then while Ben is distracted, the devil drops something in his drink. Devil, I am disappointed in you. Fucking roofing a guy or a girl. Roofing anyone. Why did you do that? And so Ben looks into his drink before he goes to drink it. And he gets a vision of another burlesque dancer while Lucifer makes all sorts of terrible jokes about farms. But Ben goes through with it and he drinks the milk. Oh, Ben, you shouldn't have drinking the milk. After drinking the milk, Ben looks over at the painting behind the bar and the girl in the painting comes to life. And she's another burlesque stripper. Quite a few of them in this film. And Lucifer's trying to nudge him like, oh, yeah, don't you want to take this painting home? No! Because Ben, he's faithful. He's the most faithful guy. He's not going to fall for this trick either. And apparently he's drunk off the milk and he bites Lucifer on the tail. Because, yeah. Why not? And Lucifer starts telling him about, like, oh, watch it or you'll go to jail, and gives him a vision of jail, and there's a prisoner, and you guessed it, another burlesque stripper. Now, Ben's in no shape to go home. His wife will just kill him because he's drunk on milk. Of course, if he doesn't come home at all, she'll probably kill him anyhow. But Lucifer, he's like, oh, I'll take you to a hotel room. Don't do it, Ben. Do not. You are drunk on milk. Do not go to a hotel room with the devil. He is going to take advantage of you. But not in that way. The devil isn't looking to fuck Ben. He's looking to fuck Ben over. And oh my God, I didn't even mean for that joke. But print it. Because his name is Ben Over, if you didn't get that. But so, oh no, the key won't open up the door to the hotel room they got. So Ben looks through the keyhole and, you guessed it, another burlesque dancer, stripper. And this film's more repetitive than like the Transformers franchise. Ben realizes he can't stay at the hotel because, the woman, he's still not going to be tempted. So Satan takes him to, not Satan, Lucifer, the devil, takes him to a Turkish bath, which I didn't realize there was bathhouses for straight men to go to. But he's in one of those steam boxes. Are those real? Like the box, like you just are in like a box and it like steams you up for something. I don't know, but he's in one of those and what's that over there in the corner? Yeah, another burlesque dancer. But still, Ben will not be tempted and the devil is just frustrated and he gives up. And so Ben goes back home to watch TV. And there's a commercial for a candy bar. Nope, not a candy bar, but stripper candy bar. And, the rest of the film has been in color. Her scene is in black and white. So I can see why they say that it's probably from a different film. It's just kind of like a little random, like, stag strip scene. Now, Ben's really pissed off at the devil, because, all the shenanigans beforehand, he can forgive that, but now he's cutting in to watching TV. So fuck that. Ben grabs the devil's pitchfork and starts stabbing his tail with it and sends him back to hell. And Satana. I was going to say Satan's wife, but Satana. I could have saved that, but no. I let you know that I completely fucked up the name. But the devil's wife is browbeating him like, oh, you couldn't, corrupt him. You suck. And he's just dejected. But then he turns on the center vision and, uh-oh, there's Ben. With a woman. Not his wife. And they're about to get the dirty deed done. Oh, Lucifer has caught him. He's been wanting to sin. He was just waiting till no one was watching. And he shows up. Then he learns the truth, because Ben then tells him, that's my wife. See, Ben-Hur Ova, he's a sultan, and he has a harem, and he's got 365 wives. That is how he's faithful. Because he's got 365 women he can fuck. And technically, he stays faithful. He can fuck hundreds of women and be faithful. That is a great loophole. Bless you, Ben-Hur Over, for finding a loophole. You are fantastic. Back in his home cave, Lucifer's getting browbeaten by his wife once again, because, he's just no good, and he's not bringing in the money, and they never go bowling. And, I can see her point there. And she goes to check on the fire, so Lucifer packs up his bag and runs out. Where he's going to? I don't know. But then we see Ben's harem. And they're all taking a bath. And there's we don't see his whole harem, because we don't see 300 women. There's less than 10. But still a good amount. Good amount of women in the bath, and he's smiling, and he kind of reminds me of Mel Brooks in just about any Mel Brooks film, and I half expect him to just look at the camera and say, it's good to be the king. Although he's not a king, so it would be, it's good to be the sultan. That it is. Satana. That would be a completely different film, wouldn't it? If it was Santana. Someone should get on that. Satana comes back, and she sees her husband's gone. Oh no, where did he go? And she demands that they bring the center vision so she can look in and see what's going on. And she sees over at the harem, and the women that are there, 10 of them, not all 365, which actually we then learn in a few minutes that it's now up to 366 to account for leap years. A woman a day. And so, the women that are gathered there, they're dancing for him. And, this goes on for a while because, that's basically what this film is just a bunch of naked women dancing and a couple of scenes of attempted plot. This is kind of what vaudeville was, wasn't it? Burlesque vaudeville. Just, you'd have a naked woman dancing. Then someone pops up to tell a corny joke. Back to naked women dancing. That's what we pretty much got here. So they're dancing, and then up pops Lucifer. And he scares off most of the women because they're oh no. Oh my god. I've got all these holes in my shirt. I don't know when the fuck that happened. Fucking cats. They just come and attack you, or I got caught on something. I realize this has nothing to do with the movie, but, I'm kind of the Ain't It Cool News. If you remember that website, back in the early 2000s, they would do movie reviews, but instead of really focusing on the movie, they focused on everything else they did that day. And then, and then we watched the movie. So that's kind of, these just kind of go off into tangents on things that are going on. But anyhow, Lucifer pops up, and it scares the women, most of them anyhow, and he's trying to tell Ben, like, oh, you can't possibly please all these women. There's just too many women. They're not going to be pleased because they're going to be limited to one a day. Now, come on, Lucifer. Is your imagination that limited? He can have more than one a day. Twice on leap years. No, come on. I mean, right now he's got 10, and I think he can please all 10 at once. I have faith in Ben Over. And but Lucifer's like, I want to hang out with this one woman. And, I bet he'd be able to show her a devil. So many terrible puns that I could land with precision, and I don't. So I was going to say that he's going to show her a devilishly good time. So Hollywood still hire me. I can write the jokes. I just can't perform them right. And by devilishly good time, well, my words, he didn't say that, but they decide they're going to dance. They're doing the twist. And Satana, watching on Cinevision, this just pisses her off. Like, how dare her husband be dancing with some floozy when he won't even take her bowling? So Satana pops up in the harem, and she drags Lucifer back to hell by his tail. Because, she's going to have to work hard, and hell, he's going to have to as well. He can't just go out and party all the time. And so he drags her off, or she drags him off to hell. And now that the devil is gone, the naked girls come back and they dance for Ben Over. Ben Her Over, his full name. Oh yeah, Ben Her. I'm not going to stop marveling at that name. I think that's a great name. Ben Her Over. That is going to be my new stage name. You know what? I am going to recommend you watch this movie. Just do so with the volume off. And just kind of fast forward to any part that isn't naked women. The naked women dancing. That is fantastic. Everything else was just... But, I mean, if you want to watch it, it's on the Internet Archive. And... boy, the tail was hot! And always on Monday, and I'm not sure why, it's also always on Monday. Something about, Ben-Hur watches TV always on Monday. I don't know if that's when the Beverly Hillbillies is on. But, wait a minute, why does he even waste time watching TV? He's got 366 naked women that are dancing for him. And I don't care. Maybe he can grow bored of that. I wouldn't. That was a pretty short one, so I'm gonna watch an extra bonus movie to kind of fill out this episode. I'm gonna watch Sex Madness from 1938. And as you could guess, it's looks to be like Reefer Madness, like one of those old-timey... what's the word I'm looking for? Like one of those films that warns you about the dangers. This time, instead of the dangers of reefer, it's the dangers of sex. Woo! I'm not sure if this came first or Reefer Madness came first, but, around the same time frame. The description says, an innocent beauty queen is tricked into having sex and pays the price with a nasty case of syphilis. Because, remember, this is the 30s, so I think syphilis was, the worst thing you could get at the time. Gonorrhea hadn't really come around. I think that really, sprouted up in the 60s and 70s. And AIDS was in the 80s. And, I don't know, have we gotten anything worse since then? I don't know, but, yeah, I think syphilis was the major thing. It killed Nietzsche. And I think it's appropriate enough, because if you don't know, I was the frontman for a band called The Next Syphilis. So it's only appropriate I watch a film about syphilis. So let's see, and let's be warned and learn why we shouldn't have sex. We start off with a warning about how syphilis is just the scourge of the nation, and it's been destroying families for ages, and it can cause children to be born blind which I'm not sure. Is that a actual thing? Like if a pregnant woman gets syphilis, or even the other way around, if the woman already has syphilis and gets pregnant, does that affect the child? I mean, it could, right? Because I know a pregnant woman can pass AIDS down to her baby. So could she pass syphilis to her baby? I don't know. I should look into that. And the warning tells us that, we can't just ignore this. We need to learn and we need to have discussions about it. Which actually, so I guess this film's heart is in the right place, because especially this is the 30s. And, you shouldn't stick your head in the sand. You should actually pay attention to what's going on, that people are having sex, and try to make things right. We start off with a stodgy old man smoking a pipe and reading a newspaper about how the police have raided some sort of girly show. Some strippers, I guess. And he thinks the police aren't doing enough. Because, he's staunchy old timer. But his son, who looks to be like 40, is like, "Oh, Dad, you guys are just trying to ruin our fun. And I'm going off to my friends and we're going to hang out and we're going to have fun." Which I guess means he's going to go to the girly show with his friends. And then we cut to some office, and these two women are there talking, because they're also reading the newspaper and reading the story. And they think like, "Oh, that sounds fun, being a stripper." And before you can say sexual harassment and get down to the HR, one of the girls starts giving the other girl a back massage. I don't know why. I guess that's the kind of degenerates that happen, You start talking about stripping, and these girls go all lesbian on you. But they decide, hey, we should give it a try, and we should go strip. Actually, 'cause this quality is kind of bad, so a lot of the audio is hard to hear. So I'm not sure if they're planning on going to a strip club or just practicing stripping themselves. But I'm excited. Now we're going to the burlesque show, which, I don't know, is this the same kind of girly show that's being, raided? Because usually, when I think of things, illegal operations that get raided, I always picture them, being kind of, in the back rooms and hidden, and you kind of have to know, secret codes to get to it. This is, fucking advertising, right on the side of the building, burlesque show. So I don't know, is this the kind that gets raided? And is there a difference between, the burlesque show and the girly show that gets raided? I don't know. So far, none of the women in the burlesque show have taken their clothes off. And I don't know if because this is a tame burlesque show or just the 1930s code won't allow them to show nudity. Not entirely sure, but, it reminds me of, the strip club in Sin City, which is fucking rated R and shows no titties. What the fuck was that? An R-rated movie and you don't show titties in the strip club? That makes no sense. But there's this guy in the audience who's got a mustache, so he's a pervert. And he's talking to his wife. And I'm not entirely sure what he says. He says something about, tonight and her friends. And I don't know if the friends refers to, vibrators or something. But the gist is that, he's going to go home and they're going to fuck tonight. And that to me shows that burlesque shows are a good thing. They're getting the husband in the mood, and, he's not going off with a floozy to fuck. He's gonna fuck his wife. But no, apparently, maybe 1930s Hollywood thinks that that's degenerate, and you should only be having sex if you're trying to have a kid. No sex for pleasure. Now things are picking up and getting hot and heavy. Not in the burlesque show, which is still really fucking boring, but in the audience, there's a woman, and she's massaging another woman and opening her shirt and saying, "Let's spend the night in my house tonight." Oh, yeah. Now, that's the type of degenerate pervertedness that you get from burlesque show and what I was hoping for. And we also see some other, pervert degenerates who are they're kind of just ogling, but they got the pervert stare. So, they're perverts. Meanwhile, the 40-year-old teen's mom is worried, where is he? Why hasn't he come back home yet? And Dad's like, Oh, don't worry, he's probably just out having fun. You're not worried, Dad? You were just talking about how the police should be raiding these sex shows. And right after you said that, your fucking son just told you how bullshit that was, that the police are doing that, and that he's gonna go out and have fun. Did you not put two and two together and realize that by fun, he means he's gonna go to one of those girly shows? Fucking hypocrite dad. But, I mean, your son's like 40, so he's gonna live his own life. And then the burlesque show is over, and the showgirls are backstage getting dressed and doing their makeup and all that. And one of them's ready to go out on the town, and she's trying to get her friend to come with her, but her friend's like, oh, I'm just tired. I'm gonna just go home and go to bed. And one of the other showgirls is like, I'll come with you. And the main blonde showgirl is like, well, no, fuck you. You're not cool. You're not coming with me. Which, what a bitch, really. Like, why not let the other showgirl come on to town with you and have fun? You guys are co-workers. You understand the showgirl lifestyle. You know what? Because I'm pretty sure Blondie is going to be the one that gets the syphilis. I'm glad she gets syphilis, because she treats her co-workers like shit. Now, some of the fellas are hanging behind the alleyway, behind the showgirl concert, and one of the showgirls comes out, and she's like, oh, yeah, there's going to be a party at this place with that one girl that you want to hang out with. And the guys are like, hey, you want to come with us and party with all the other girls? You're like, no. I feel like she's setting them up, because I think it was the girl that wasn't allowed to go out on the town with the other girl. And then we see this other girl in a plaid schoolgirl skirt. Oh, yeah. And she's walking down the street at the nighttime. So I hope she's not an actual schoolgirl, because why is she allowed to walk by herself at nighttime in her schoolgirl skirt? I guess the 30s were just that naive of a time. And there's this creepy pervert who sees her walk by, and he follows her. He's got bad intentions. And then suddenly, we get the newspaper headline that a sex criminal has been arrested for baby murder. So, now I'm guessing the film wants us to think like, okay, that was the sex criminal, and she was the baby that got murdered. The whole Eisenstein principle of like editing, where how you edit things leads you to like make certain conclusions. Yeah, I think it's the Eisenstein principle. God, that name just feels so weird, because I keep thinking Einstein, but not Einstein, Eisenstein. So, but I mean, even if she's a schoolgirl, she was at least in her teens. She's not a baby. And he was prosecuted for it already, and or at least arrested. Things moved a little too fast there. Like, what's the timeline here in this film? And then now we got the one girl, the showgirl that didn't want to go out on the town because she's a homebody and's gone home, and her landlady's there cleaning the house. Boundaries, landlady. Boundaries. And I don't know, is that like a 30s thing that your fucking landlady would just come into your house and clean it for you? What the fuck? I want a landlord like that. More usually a landlord comes into your house while you're not there unannounced. They're throwing your shit out. But this scene is fantastic because there's an open window that slams shut. It just like falls, and it obviously like just throws the one actress off, and she fucks up her line, and it's clear as day, and it's obvious they fucking left that in. Even like, okay, flubbed lines are one thing, like you can go with it, like people flub things in real life. Anyone who listens to my podcast knows I'm constantly flubbing lines, but you fucking left, like, the window just randomly dropping. Like, that is... You could not take another take? And that's the scary thing is whenever you see like a really terrible scene and really terrible performance and terrible take, you have to remember that was the fucking best take they had. So maybe they tried several more takes and they're like, fuck it, we're going with the window slamming shut because she ain't doing any better. And then she's gotten a letter from her boyfriend who's proposed to her, and she's all swoony, like, oh, I'm going to get married. Now, the fellas arrive at the kickin' house party, and you know it's an awesome house party because the girls are playing jazz piano. And, I mean, that was the happening thing back then. You know, you listen to jazz music from, like, the 20s, and it's like, hey, you know, this is actually kind of fun. I could get into jazz. And then you hear like modern jazz and you're like, where the fuck did it all go wrong? Like modern jazz, I don't know, maybe it's all Miles Davis's fault and jazz music just became unlistenable, but like just unlistenable, like meandering shit. But back then it was like party music. And so they're partying. And I think this may actually just be the party scene from Reefer Madness. And everyone's drinking and smoking. Were to assume cigarettes, but I don't know. Like I said, I think this might be the party scene from Reefer Madness, so they might be smoking the ganja. Especially if they're playing all that jazz music. You play jazz, it's either some reefer or some good old smack. And so now people are gathering together, like they're leaving off in pairs into different bedrooms. Because it's that kind of party. You got the reefer, you've got the jazz music. What do you expect? People are gonna fuck. Because jazz music used to be fucking music. Now, the showgirl, the one that stayed home because she didn't want to go and party, she goes sees the doctor in the morning. And the doctor has bad news for her. She's got syphilis. Damn it! I wanted the bitch to be the one to get the syphilis. Why did the nice girl get the syphilis? But I guess, you know, that's part of the moral that they're trying to teach us, that even nice people can get syphilis. And the doctor, you know, says she's got to tell her boyfriend, because if they want to get married. I think even if they don't want to get married, you got to tell your boyfriend you've got syphilis. But I guess maybe the boyfriend is one of those pure, well, I'm saving myself for marriage type guys. And so they're not going to have sex. So that's why it's only important for her to tell him if they're getting married. So the doctor then, you know, he's like, you're a nice girl. Like, how did this happen? Tell me everything. And he says it like that, like very creepily, like, tell me everything. I think the doc's just a perv that wants to get off on the story. Like, by everything, he only wants to hear the sex part. But she's telling him a story that, you know, she's just a girl from a small town, and she won a beauty contest that sent her to New York City. Always New York City. That place just fucking corrupts you, doesn't it? And she gets there, and I'm not entirely sure what the plan was or why she even went there, because apparently then she's just going without a job. I thought she was just going for a beauty contest. So wouldn't she just need to be there for the contest and then come back home after she loses? Did she decide to stick around? So she's looking for a job and can't find one until in 1930s Harvey Weinstein like offers her a job as a dancer or showgirl or something. Not entirely sure, but he makes her like audition with the 1930s version of a casting couch. Like, he doesn't fuck her. He wants to. But he does make her show him her legs. Hubba hubba. The lady's got some nice gams on her. Which, I think that's like really a phrase we need to bring back into popular usage. Nice gams, dame. I like that phrase. And I wish this guy had said it. Because that dame does have some nice gams. So he sends her to the party where she's got to, quote unquote, I'm saying quote unquote because you can't see me do the air quotes, entertain the guys there. So she goes to the party, and a guy dressed as Straight Zorro. Haha, see? You would have thought I'd say gay Zorro, but Zorro always seemed pretty gay to me. I don't know. I don't know much about Zorro. I know he wears that mask, has that mustache, and has the sword that he does a Z with. And so this guy's dressed like Zorro. I always thought Zorro's a little gay, so I'm calling him the straight Zorro. It doesn't matter. He claims that he's going to help her career and take her to new heights and all that. All she has to do is, blow him. Well, I mean, he doesn't say blow him. Just implies some sexual favors are needed. Which sexual favors? We don't know. We just know that she fucked him. And then she never saw from him again or heard from him again. Because he was like, I fucked her, and how I'm outie. But he did leave her with that gift that keeps on giving. The good old syphilis. And the doctor tells her, like, well, this is treatable, and it is possible for you to still marry that boy. You just have to come with me. Interested to see what it is that she needs to do in order to marry the boy. The doctor takes her to the ward of the hospital with all the people who let their syphilis go untreated. And I imagine it's probably very horrible and maybe graphic and all that because it just cuts abruptly. So I think maybe like that scene is just lost to history. Or maybe the director's like, I'll just let people take their own imagination of how horrible it is. Either way, you know what? I'm glad. I don't want to see like syphilis-ridden crotches. Not that I expected them to show syphilis-ridden crotches. And, there's hope for her because it's still early. So he's going to treat her for now. But she's going to have to go and find her own doctor when she gets back home. And she can't find a doctor at her home because then everyone's going to know she's got syphilis. Small towns. So she's going to have to find a doctor near her home. Nearby city that hopefully is in her insurance network. And he'll treat her. But she better make sure it's not a quack. And once it's all cleared up, then she can marry that nice little boy. Now there's two stodgy old guys talking about how we need to do something because nearly 1 in 10 young people have a venereal disease. How are we going to combat this? We can't keep stigmatizing sex. Their solution is that we have to teach young people about how good sex feels when it's in a loving, God-fearing relationship for the sake of procreation. And I don't know. I don't know if this plan will work. But the showgirl takes the train home where she's met at the train station by her parents who are super happy to see her because they don't know she has syphilis. Months pass and she's been keeping up on her syphilis regimen with the doctor she found. And the doctor gives her a clean bill of health and says, yeah, it's okay for you to get married. And she's excited and she gets married and more months pass by. And then thunder and lightning. Very ominous. As we see the baby is born. Well, we don't see the baby is born. We see the guy like in the waiting room because this is the 30s, so the guys aren't allowed into the actual operating room to see the baby being born. But he hears the baby crying like, yay! But wait, thunder and lightning. That would suggest something bad, something ominous. Then one day, the dad, the showgirl's husband, is at work and he's reading a newspaper story about a quack doctor that's been arrested for peddling fake cures. And, I don't recognize the name because, honestly, I wasn't really paying attention, but I think that might be the doctor that she was seeing about her syphilis. And unfortunately, the husband is having trouble reading the article because the print is a little too small. Wait a minute. Isn't difficulty seeing one of the symptoms of syphilis? And, oh no, there looks like there's something wrong with the baby. She's going to have to call the doctor. Wait a minute, weren't we told that syphilis can cause problems in newborn babies? Hmm. Now, this is back in the day when doctors made house calls, so the doctor shows up and checks the baby, like, oh no, baby's sick. Baby's definitely ill. Take it to a pediatrician. Oh, by the way, mom and dad, come to my office. I think the doctor knows. It's the syphilis. And then meanwhile, over at the quack's office, there's another guy who I guess had syphilis, and he peddles some miracle cure. And then we get a newspaper about how the American Medical Association and the United States government are working together to fight syphilis with the help of a movie. I wonder if this is the movie that they're using to help battle syphilis. Whoa, that is so super fucking meta. Now the 40-year-old teen goes to his dad and says, Dad, I have to admit the truth to you. I have syphilis. And Dad's like, how could this happen? Well, you see, Dad, sometimes a guy gets these urges and he sticks his thing in a syphilitic vagina or a syphilitic butthole. I don't know what he did. You know, it's presumptuous of me to presume that he did it with a lady. Could have been with a fella. And then over at the doctor with the married couple that has the syphilitic baby, doctor tells them, your baby has syphilis, which means one or both of you have syphilis. And the dad's like, no, you're wrong, doc. And mom's like, it's true. I have syphilis. I've murdered my baby and I'm murdering my husband. Actual quote. And oh, what shall they ever do? She tried, but fucking quacks have doomed her. And now the newspaper tells us that the war against syphilis is opening today by the Metropolitan Congress. That actually kind of sounds like just like a art project or something, some art gallery show. War Against Syphilis opens today. And holy shit, I may have to go back and fast forward through this film to see every instance of the spelling of syphilis. Because this is fucking hilarious. In this newspaper headline, syphilis is spelled with 2 L's. And why this is hilarious is, to give a backstory, because syphilis is spelled with 1 L. Now, when I started the next syphilis, a joke that I had was, because syphilis is kind of tricky to spell, that at every show, we were going to spell syphilis different. And I thought, like, oh, yeah, that'd be hilarious. Then I was like, I don't know if I like that joke. We're going to stick with spelling it right. And as you might guess, I accidentally spelled it with 2 L's. And I had that for a couple of shows, and someone pointed out to me, like, oh, you realize you misspelled syphilis, right? That was intentional? It's like, oh, shit. So then we went to saying that the extra L in syphilis was for love. Just perfect. So, fucking newspapers fucked it up too. Or maybe that used to be how it's spelled. So, no, I never misspelled syphilis. I'm considering this correct spelling. So, I may have to go back through at some future point in life and see how syphilis is spelled throughout this film. Because maybe I have been right all this time. And so, something. What the fuck happened? Sorry, I got distracted. So anyhow, they have a big speech at Congress about we need to stop being prudes and just explain sex to the kids. And good for you. And then the showgirl's all sad and she thinks, we're just gonna die. And then she gets a call from her other showgirl friend who's been getting treatments because she listened to the other showgirl, and she's gonna be happy and get married and have babies just like them, you know. And the showgirl, ignoring the fact that basically her friend just told her, like, hey, I have syphilis and I went to see the same quack as you and things are gonna be great. And instead of like warning your friend, like, whoa, whoa, hold on, things are fucked, she's just super happy and realizes, hey, if my friend can be happy, I can be happy too. The end. I don't know. I was hoping kind of like there'd be a little more like reefer madness and just have like an insane scene where everyone goes it crazy and kills each other. Like syphilis just completely ruined their mind or something. But God, that was awful. But I've learned my lesson. No having sex with showgirls. Or, I don't know. Is that the lesson I was supposed to learn? I don't know. I hope you don't get syphilis from listening to this podcast. As always, like and subscribe if you like and want to subscribe. I don't really care. I always feel weird about that. Why do people demand, like, subscribe to my channel? Uh, but if you want to, you can leave a comment if you're listening on YouTube, or you can email me, velvetal@hotmail.com, if there's some film that you would like me to torture myself with watching so that you don't have to. Or if you just want to say, fuck you, I hate you, you're an asshole. It's all good. Till next time. And I want to thank the Living Brain Dead for providing the official theme song for Velvet Owl Watches Movies So You Don't Have To. It's called Never Fuck With Catgirls, and you can get it at livingbraindead.com, which you should totally do. They are not paying me for this, so I shield them out of my love for the music.